slams one high and deep to left. And the Royals strike first. And Perez clobbers one. This one's headed deep to left, and that's out of here. Oh, that's just going to dunk in right behind shortstop for the fourth Royal run. First four have reached to the fifth.
Good morning, Kansas City. Sometimes Jay likes to cut the music off on me. I was making sure it was running. Oh, thank you. I was afraid you were going to do that. It startles my system. Sometimes like, oh, music's over. But we found the loop.
Let it run.
I know.
Oh,
Jack White
now.
fuels me. I put together some really good playlists on Spotify this weekend.
Did you?
Yeah. One of them's called Good Songs.
Good songs. Did you spell songs
It's like
with a Z at the end?
Well, no, I should, but it's a category like I couldn't really, because as Lebo knows, I got
like it all.
I got like 40 playlists on Spotify,
I got it
but
all.
I categorized everything.
Yeah.
But there are some songs that are falling between the cracks.
They're just
like,
good
I don't
songs.
know how to where do I classify
Tell me
this
what's
at?
on them. Give me
I
a
can't
exam.
even-
You can
I
tell
can't
me.
even-
Just get to good songs and read the first four songs to me.
I don't think you'll think they're good.
Oh. Good songs to me.
I did one last night that's 7 hours and 30 minutes. SSJ post-grunge alt-rock.
I have a post-grunge playlist.
But some of it's grunge, some of it's alt rock, and some of it's
Yeah.
post grunge. So I just smashed it all together, and I listened to it on the way to work, and it was
Some bangers.
I got in some Soundgarden, I got in some Audio Slave, I got in some Pearl Jam. I was feeling it on the way to work. I felt good.
Yeah.
I felt good. I always get excited after I put together a playlist. The good songs you're not gonna like.
I love it.
A little different. Matchbox 20. You know what it started with? Jake, you'll appreciate this. Or Drake.
That's Drake.
Drake. It started off as a playlist where I could put songs that I became familiar with and played on 97.3 The Planet.
Yeah.
I remember
Right.
that station.
Yeah.
And so, because you know how this started, I think you'll appreciate this. I don't know how, but I was just messing around on the internet, and I saw that someone is selling one of our CDs that we gave away from the
a
Planet
little mix.
Planet Sessions or whatever. And
Planet Lounge.
yeah, they were selling for like $80 on eBay or something,
I
right?
might have about 40 of those in my
I
office.
was going to ask you, could I have one? Yeah, do you have
Absolutely.
any? I'd love to have one.
I have a Planet playlist. It's called AAA. Called AAA.
Yeah, there you go.
AAA.
And so I said, you know what?
I like those
And
songs.
one of the songs that I began to like the band Guster, and so Careful was a song we played a lot, and I like that. I go, I never hear that song anymore. I don't have a playlist for it. Where do I put it? That's a good song.
Good songs.
That's a good song.
Good song.
And then I thought, well, there it is. Good song playlist.
Good song.
And that went in there. So then I tried to recall all the songs that I used to like that we played on the Planet, and then a bunch of songs just from that era. And so then it had, like, what are some other good songs that, hey, that's a good song, let me turn it up. And it hasn't fit into a category, so it started from there and just kind of,
So, are all of your other playlists bad songs?
no.
Or are they even better songs?
Like, Semisonic, The Verve.
Yeah. I have that
Kings of
list.
Leon.
Mine's about 8 hours long, too. But I've called it AAA because that was what that format was allegedly called. What's that? Would that
And
mean?
I realized I like,
Adult?
Adult
by the way,
album.
what just fell out of your mouth, by the way?
Pop-Tart, Blueberry.
Wow.
Yeah, Pop-Tart.
But like, I didn't realize how much I like Matchbox 20.
There's a lot of good songs.
Very successful band.
Yeah. Good formula. Good
Right.
songs.
And so I spent some time going through that stage of my life, and then went into my Bare Naked Ladies, and then I told the story of how I hosted a lunch with the Bare Naked Ladies for some listeners, and they were really cool and nice guys. We
Yeah.
sat down and broke bread and talked. And so-
Canadians, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
And this is way pre-COVID. They all had every one of them, before they shook our hands and after shook our hands. Hands. How you doing?
Dirty. You're dirty.
Oh yeah, filthy.
What's your longest playlist?
Oh, I don't know about
I
that.
think we have one called Porchin'. To get out on the porch and just listen to like porch music.
Yeah.
It's, let me see. Get to the bottom.
Sad
It's
songs is
15 hours.
7:49. Workout is 16 hours and 3 minutes.
Have you ever worked out for
Yeah,
16
good workout.
hours?
Yeah, and that's
Portion is now 15 hours and 19 minutes, but I add to it all the time. I added a song to it this week.
Riverwalk's only 5 hours.
That's your river walking
Yeah.
song.
That's when I go walk down. by
You
the
may
river.
walk for 5 hours, but you never worked out for 16.
No, but I don't like to hear the same exact songs over and over again.
I made a list. You'd probably like this. This is called Skating Rink. This is like songs from when we were
Yeah.
like 13 years old. Those songs.
Yeah, there's songs I can't really mention. Or there's
Oh yeah,
playlists.
there's a playlist. Yeah, I got some of those too.
I got all
compare
kinds
those
of
in the
good
break.
ones. I got Cookout. Like we're out. That's
Yeah.
more like the
A
porch
porch.
saying we're out.
Yeah, outside,
I got some good stuff.
hanging out.
Thank you. Oh, I appreciate that.
Oh, I have this.
This is volume. Oh, I didn't see this one. They were selling volume 1 on there, and I like volume 1 because you can hear me singing in the background when Steve Poltz was singing.
Oh, that was
in
the one we
studio.
recorded here. Yeah.
Right. This is a good one. See, Howie Day made it. Yeah. Keen made it.
I love Stereophonics. That's a good song.
This is good. I appreciate you.
How did Drake get a hold of these?
Wallflowers. Yep.
But he must have asked Tedwards for a copy.
Yeah, I sprinkled a little, Ben Harper, Jack Johnson stuff we used to play, and stuff at the time. Like I don't like this at all, but then I liked it, and then
It's a good song.
right, it opened my mind up to a different.
Ben Harper is the very first song on my list of my AAA time.
Steal My Kisses.
Steal My Kisses.
Hey,
See?
play that song today. I like that song.
How about that?
I hadn't heard that song in years, and I played it when I put together the playlist.
Yeah, boy.
Go Royals.
How about that? It's a big time of year, huh? Lots of stuff going on.
Now it's time. That's how winning is done. That's what Rocky Balboa said to his smart-ass, ungrateful son standing outside the restaurant. What? He did.
Yeah.
Remember that scene?
Yes. Now, so you just get hit
Because
over the wall and
his
pitch.
son just disrespected Rocky and wanted to divorce himself from Rocky's legacy and, just blamed everyone for everything. And Rocky finally told him, basically, get your head out of your ass. That's how winning is done. One of the greatest speeches of any sportsman, really any movie ever.
Any movie.
And so that's the Royals have pulled their heads out, and now they're starting to win.
They score runs.
And this is very interesting. I said this all last week. This is going to be very interesting because of the timing of everything and the decisions that they have in front of them. And I don't know what they're going to do. There was a report from, was it Ken Rosenthal? And it's one of these reports that's like common sense,
Mm-hmm.
If the Royals fall out of contention, they will trade Seth Lugo. Like, oh really? Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Kenny. But Seth Lugo's pitching very well. He could be attractive to many a contender. Oh, by the way, if you see the Yankees lost Clark Schmidt to Tommy John surgery, and they're calling up a pitcher, a 6'6" pitcher. I'm going to refrain from saying his name because, as I read, it is an absolute landmine for broadcasters everywhere. And I'm going to make this prediction. Someone's going to mess up. And I don't know if it'll cost them their job, but it's going to go viral. At some point, someone is going to mess this guy's name up. And it ain't going to be me. So just remember, bookmark that.
Is it Tim Hill?
No, it's not. I don't think
him.
that anyone. Okay. I'm going to show you the name because the Yankees are expected to call up this pitcher from AAA
And you're going to make me read
because
this
he
live
has to
on air.
replace Clark Schmidt, who's destined for season-ending Tommy John surgery. And the reason I'm bringing this up is so add them to the list. There's a contender that has good stuff,
He's a buyer.
that has good prospects that now need a starting pitcher. Now, here's I want you to tell me how they're going to have to tiptoe around that one because there's a couple of different ways you can mess that up.
That's
it.
Cam.
Cam is the first name. Right?
Schlittler?
Yeah. And if you try real hard and focus, I think you can get it.
Yeah.
But there's going to be some times when someone's calling a game and they're just going to let it loose and it's going to come out the wrong way.
I think you just probably should just go with Schleitler.
Right, but there's a couple. I don't know. Maybe it is. But with the way it looks, it's Schlittler. And there's a couple of wrong things you could say out of
Keep
that.
them L's in there.
You see what I'm saying?
You want to keep the L's
There's
in.
a couple of things that.
Concentrate on the L's.
And the point with that is, there's another contender that now needs a starting pitcher. Ding, 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 ding. And that's what we're talking about. And so, look, Michael Lorenzen pitched very well. And that's only good for the Royals.
Yes.
Because either with Lugo and Lorenzen, and I'm mentioning them because they're trade candidates, with Lugo and Lorenzen pitching well, it's either one of two things are going to happen. One, they pitch well and they help pitch the Royals back into contention. That's good. Or they pitch well and the Royals decide they're going to have to move one or both of them. But by pitching well, they're driving up their price tag. They're driving up their value. So either way, it's good. And so that I was very enthused to see Michael Lorenzen pitch well because he's been uneven. But again, right now, I don't know, and they don't know what they're going to do. And I know that some people have gone ahead and decided, nope, they're sellers.
Well, what is contention? That's the question.
Right.
What date? How far back?
It's not just where you are. Okay.
How you playing?
It's what, and this is the trickier question. It's what you believe the team is capable of in the second half.
But they always believe in themselves.
Not they could look at. Do you remember, Jake? You might have to help me. This has been a while ago. This is. I'm not even sure if this is the wild card era. It probably was. Do you remember several years ago when the White Sox were 3.5 games out, and they just started selling off players?
Right. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
They traded away.
And people were just like, "What the hell are they? They're only 3.5 games out."
Big reliever, right?
And I think what the GM said was, we're realists. This is not, basically saying we don't.
Yeah.
They've been moving a bunch of guys to the Giants.
I think someone got someone got traded. I remember that. Yeah. They're like, we're toast.
Right.
But the Royals don't ever seem to give up, which I think I admire in a way.
Well, okay, and so here we go. Let's see. Right.
How did you Google
it's
that?
called,
White Sox give up?
I said, White Sox 3 games out, fire sale. And then here you go. Let's see. The morning of August 1st, 1997, the headline in the Chicago Tribune, Surrender Sox deliver a San Francisco treat.
There it is.
Hernandez, Alvarez, and Darwin go west as Sox chances go south. And they traded away the guts of their pitching staff while they were 3.5 games out of first place in the Central. That's wild, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, imagine the Royals being 3.5 games out of first place and say, "Oh, we're good, we're done," and trading Lugo and Lorenzen and Estevez, right?
San Francisco treat, though.
And so, Sox fans were divided into 2 camps: those who were outraged by the surrender by Jerry Reinsdorf and those that felt it was a wise move, because even though they're 3.5 games off the lead, nobody felt like the Sox were going to catch Cleveland, which is such a weird thing. They're 3.5 games out, but that's
there's no wild card.
That's an extreme.
Well, there was a wild card then, but it wasn't.
It's 97.
Yeah.
So, but that's an extreme example. But I always think about that. I think, wow, that team internally and that must have been very difficult.
Right.
Or maybe ownership said, "Oh, you got to do this." Whatever. That couldn't have been easy, and no one. They couldn't have all been on the same page, but they decided internally, yeah, we're 3.5 games out, but this isn't real. And we have an opportunity to do something that can set up our future, whatever the rationale was.
So they won it all 8 years later in 2005?
Yeah. And, I'd love to
Remember what they got back? They got Bobby Howry in that deal. He was part of that, right? Keith Folk.
Oh, yeah, Folk was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're saying is about the Royals not giving up, I understand that, but also there's reason behind it because they went to the playoffs last year. And they've had one of the best rotations in baseball, right? And they have some really good pieces in the bullpen. And they have a superstar to build around. And they have some players that honestly, they have some offensive players that are going to be better in the second half because that's the way baseball is. When you see a guy that's hitting out of his mind and it's not anything close to what he does normally, you think, oh, there's going to be some regression here because that's the way baseball is. The numbers don't lie. He'll come back down to earth. Well, I'm telling you, like Jonathan India is not going to be this bad in the second half. Bobby Witt Jr. is going to be even better. Caglianone's not going to continue to go, what's he, 4 for his last 50 at some point?
Right, in 140s now.
Nah, so I don't know about Nick Lofton. He was in a 1 for 35 stretch. I don't know, that's shockingly bad, but there's some hitters on that team that just are going to be better in the second half. And you have this window where you have Seth Lugo. You have, a very impressive young Noah Cameron. You have Waka. You have these guys. You have Chris Bubich, who's pitching at a high level. And guess what? You have to make a decision on Bubich pretty soon. He may not be here forever.
Mm-hmm.
He's a lot closer to free agency than people realize. And then also, which and I talked to Scott Sharp and I listened to how he reacted to my question, and it is a factor. It's a factor that Cole Reagans, they expect him to come back for September, and that would be one thing. He's out for the year. He's not coming back, but they think he can come back. And he even said that's going to be kind of like hopefully
a trade,
right. A trade in a late season addition, or a trade an addition at the trade deadline. We're adding an impact arm late in the season, and so they have all these reasons that they're looking past just the record, where they think, if we're still within shouting distance, we think that this team could be set up for a really good second half. Now, are they lying to themselves? Are they wrong? That's another discussion. But I'm telling you, that's the opinion of some people in the front office. And look, what did I say going on this last road trip? Just go out there and keep your head above water.
He did that.
And go 4-3. If you can go 4-3, you feel good about it. Okay, they split with Seattle and they won 2 out of 3 against Arizona.
4-3.
Okay? Now that's not a huge jump, but it's good. It's progress. Because you come home, and if you play, finally, if you can get your act together at home, which has been an issue for them, you got some pretty decent matchups. You got the Pirates and the Mets. And you should be able to win some games. You should be able to go, I'm not going to go crazy here, but you should be able to go 4-2 here. And then you could say to yourself, going into the All-Star break, okay, last road trip, we went 4-3. Last homestand, we went 4-2. Here we go. Let's add something and see if we can help these guys out and make a push. Now they come home and they go out there, drop trowel, and lay a giant turd like they have, they did against Oakland, like they did with some of these.
Nearly everybody at home
in June and against right, and they go 2-4, 1-5 on this road trip. That's going to be a much different discussion during the All-Star break. And I hate to put too much on a homestand.
Well, it's big,
right?
It just is.
Road trip homestand. I hate to put too much on a 6-game homestand, but it's very important.
Yeah,
it's very important.
The number of games is shrinking before the All-Star break, and this is time to kind of get to that point where you have to make the choice. What are we?
Yes, going 4-3 extended their life. Going 4-3 on this road trip, splitting with Seattle and winning 2 out of 3 against Arizona. Now you come home, and you've got to show that you've turned things around. Because if the Royals are a cat, they've used many of their 9 lives now.
Bad June.
You can't afford to come back and have another bad homestand. You had your bad homestands. That's got to be out of your system. And so now you go and you right the ship somewhat on the road, The bats wake up a little bit. Now you got to come home and you got to play like you're supposed to at home. And how are you supposed to? When you've got 3 against Pittsburgh and 3 against the Mets, and you want to be a contender, you got to win 4 out of 6. You got to be 4-2. This has got to be a winning homestand. Because they also can't afford just to tread water anymore. They did a little bit better than tread water on the road. They went 4-3. That's fine.
You'll take that.
But now they gotta make a statement. Okay? If they were to go 5-1, oh, it's on. 4-2, all right. 3-3 or less, like, what are we doing here?
So
pick up the phone and see what they'll give us for Lugo.
They were 8-18 in June. Just disgusting.
Yeah, they won 1 game at home in June.
1 game at home in June. Every other month this year, it's been all right. You know, game over, couple games over. They're 2 games over already in July. That's good stuff. They just had a horrific June, especially at home. Their home record is bad. Their home run scored is unbelievably bad. I mean, it's terrible. 125 runs they've scored at home. They played 44 games. That's just atrocious. And they're going to face this Pittsburgh team now. They don't have to face Paul Skeens. They went ahead and threw him yesterday because I think they're trying to line him up to be able to start the All-Star game or whatever they're doing. He was supposed to pitch today, and then they went ahead and moved him up to yesterday. Did you see the stat about the Pirates? First team in Major League history to shut out a team in a 3-game series and then immediately follow it up with them getting shut out in all 3.
And who did they do that to?
To the Cardinals, and they shut the Cardinals out and got shut out by the Mariners, right?
And then, not too long ago, they had a series where they beat the hell out of the Mets, and let Steve Cohen, the Mets owner, to social media to apologize to fans.
I'm so sorry.
Right.
So yeah, you're right. This is a time to if you can muster something up here and get healthy.
Pittsburgh is 38-53, and they've lost 3 in a row. Okay, the Mets. Or they have a good record, 52-39, but they've fallen back a bit, and they're 5-5 in their last 10, and they've had some issues. And they're an incredible home team, but they're 5 games under 500 on the road. And that's not going to be. You can't just lay down and beat the Mets, but 4-2. That's not too much to ask. That's what you got to do, because you're trying to prove something. You created a hole. You got to dig your way out of it. And so now it's not just keeping your head above water. It's results.
Yeah.
Right now. It's July 7th. Right now. And the Royals, because they know what they're doing. I suppose, a lot of people they don't know. They know what they're doing. And they have many irons in the fire. And I'm quite sure, I know people lost their minds. Did you see, speaking of the Pirates, the report out there that they're interested in, or they've shown some interest in Brian Reynolds from the Pirates?
Mm-mm.
Oh, my God. There was a social media meltdown about that one. But that didn't mean they're going to trade for him, but they've had discussions about him. They should. They should also, guess what? I'm quite sure they've had discussions about trading Lugo or Lorenzen or even Estevez. They've had discussions about a couple of bats acquiring them. They have to be set up for all these different scenarios. They just can't wait till the final 2 weeks before the trade deadline. Oh, now we got to make the phone calls. No, the groundwork's been laid. And so, yes, all of these. Here's the. Let's see. Royals have shown interest in trading for Brian Reynolds per Ken Rosenthal. When I say that to you, when I say that to either one of you, does that move the needle at all?
Well, I mean,
I'm not
is
surprised.
he batting more than 140?
But I mean, do you okay, that would be something? Some people would say, you misspelled Hunter Renfroe. Like, oh, easy. Stop that. But yeah, but the problem is he's got a bad contract, and if the Royals are going to pay all of it, it's going to cost a lot of money, but they're not going to give up much. But if the Pirates are going to have to pay a good chunk of it, guess what that means? The Royals are going to have to come off a better prospect or a better package.
I'm
So-
not going to sit and say it looks like a terrible move or whatever, but that looks like Hunter Renfroe. He's 30 years old. He's got a minus WAR this year.
I didn't tell you that I want him.
I know.
I'm just telling you that
He's having
Kenny
the worst-
Rosenthal reported it.
Worst year of his career.
Yeah. Well, if he wasn't, he wouldn't be available. I mean,
Well, although he's on a team that's done.
Right.
So, that's
he's been hot at the time. At the time that this report was given, he was
gotten a hit.
Yeah, he was hot. Oh, stop!
What? Dude is he's got that is oh my
just-
gosh, he's going to get paid through 2031. Do not pass.
No, you'd have to have them pay a good chunk.
Well, that doesn't sound like something Pittsburgh's going to do.
I understand. This is why it caused a debate. But that doesn't mean that they focused on him.
No.
What it means is Ken
they're kicking
Rosenthal,
tires.
hey,
Yeah.
they talked about it. That's probably true.
Sure.
But they talked about, and there was a report they talked about dealing. They have talked about it. If they haven't talked about it, then what are they doing? Playing PS5?
Hope it was a conversation like we just had where he's saying nothing.
There you go. And there you go. And it might have been.
Yeah.
JJ might have said, "Oh no, we're not doing that."
No.
But it's time. As Bruce Buffer says, it's time.
It's not.
Either as Drake says, either poop or get off the pot. It's time for it.
It's time,
All right,
man.
We'll take a break. Back after this on WHP. You see, this is jam. I like this song. You know what this is?
It's Ben Harper. I
No.
always have to steal my kisses.
It's a good song.
Oh, it's a good song.
That's why it's on my playlist of good songs.
Is Ben Harper still making music, Drake?
Think so.
He just needs to get more good songs on your list.
This,
Are your Spotify list public for
Reminds-
people to listen to?
yes, this reminds me of putting my headphones on while doing the show on 97.3 The Planet, listening to this song, and helping it soothe me and helping it get through the fact that I absolutely hated some of the people I worked with. The anger and the hatred was absolutely bubbling over like hot oil, just like. And then I would hear a song like, let me
that's not
have
so bad.
3 minutes of enjoyment, of satisfaction before I go back to despising people around me.
Who were those people?
I could rattle off a list pretty quick that would hit 5 or 6 people.
Let's go.
No.
Statute of limitations.
If you know,
is up.
you know. If you know, you know.
Write them down and send them to me.
This song was not on the list. I love this song.
It's a good song.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Really good song. Hey, good song.
Craig, this part. I like this part.
A little beatbox and cowbell.
This song, seriously, this song was therapy for me.
Yeah.
Some of that music was therapy. Because some of these songs I never wanted to end, and I never wanted to take my headphones off.
Why is this song not
'Cause
longer?
I never wanted to step out into the hallway. Because if I did, I would hear like, you know, like, oh boy,
Hmm?
someone's right around the corner.
Who's that?
And then there were times when I'd get here in the morning, ready to host 97.3, The Planet's morning show, and then Swartz or Jake would run down the hall. Hey, we can't find Renshaw. You got to host A10 right now. What?
Come again?
When? Tomorrow? No. In 5 minutes.
The good old days.
Okay, here I come. Remember that?
I do remember those phone calls I would get.
And
In the morning.
guess what? I did it
Yeah.
until ultimately it became my full-time job. And Kansas City, here I is.
Be those times I would get this phone call from Aaron.
Yeah.
We can't find Renshaw. By the way, Renshaw alive and well,
Yeah.
sober,
You know, and that's important.
and he is. He
Hey.
every once in a while sends me a message on Facebook.
Look at this. Much love.
Much love.
Because guess what? If he didn't go, I wouldn't be sitting right here.
Right.
All right. And so look here.
Be a lot of those times they say, call Nate,
Right.
wake him up,
But
get
Many
Steven
times
out of the hall. Oh
get
yeah.
Steven, and then whoever I happened to be close with at the time would get mad because they would pull me,
Right.
you know, and Mr. would run down the hall.
And that would be however long it would take to get someone else here to do that, so you could get back to that. It was really
Drake,
moving
do
parts.
you enjoy this walk down memory lane?
Kind of.
Yeah. But there were some good times.
Remember we were talking before the show. You're like, I'm a dependable boy.
Yeah.
See,
I just looked at
Goes
you.
back.
Sometimes I tell Todd things because I want him to stroke my ego. I said, you know what, Todd? I'm dependable.
he's right
You
here.
can- You can count on me.
Count on me.
No, I'm just saying in general, you can count on me.
Yes.
Because there are some people right now in my life that I can't count on.
Yeah.
Right? I can count on my family, but there's some other people, and you know what I'm talking about as well.
Name
Some
name
people-
names.
I'm definitely not doing that. There are some people that are proven to be undependable, right?
It happens.
But guess what? Guess who is dependable?
You.
You, and right there, you two. I commend you. All right, because you are both very dependable.
And Jake's very dependable. Not here today.
No. This version of
Yeah.
Jake. 2025 Jake is.
Oh.
You know who else would be
He
dependable?
answered the bell.
According to Todd
Those
Lebo,
days.
Brian Reynolds would be dependable in the Royals outfield.
I
Somehow they
didn't
could
say that.
get their hands on him. Well, you didn't like that, did you?
Only one way to go from here.
What's your problem with Ken Rosenthal?
Nothing.
Let's dig into that.
No, listen.
No. I
No,
want to
no.
know.
There's nothing wrong with that report. But if they chose to make a move to get that player, I think that would be something they would regret. Because he's got a contract for 5 more seasons. And it's not crazy money, but it's real money. You know?
Here's the report I bet earlier. You ready for this one? Rival teams believe Royals starting pitcher Seth Lugo will be placed on the trade block if KC is out of the playoff race, per Bob Nightingale.
Rival teams believe that.
And you laughed, right? You don't like Bob Nightingale's report?
He says he talked to a couple of teams in the American League. They said, well, if they're no good, they'll probably trade that guy.
Right.
There's your story.
Well, that's true.
Teams with losing records expected to not make playoffs.
Right. That's exactly right. I'm looking at it right now, and here's
Ryan Reynolds making $14 million next year, 15. Then he's got there's a $20 million team option.
There's no need to fixate on this.
No.
Hey, simply
good for him
the
that he got
report
that
to you.
contract. I mean, that is a great deal for him. Here's my prediction. You want my prediction?
Pain.
Go back to all the Rockies. That Brian Reynolds will not be playing Major League Baseball in 2030, and he will still be making $15 million.
That's 5 years from now.
But he's got a contract through 2030, and he's got a buyout in 2031. That's a good contract for him.
Here, let me read. I'm not going to get into this. This is that was a bizarre name that I heard. Yeah, that was reported by Ken Rosenthal. Yes, that was. But my point is,
They traded him for Kutch.
They're having many discussions about many different players, both acquiring and trading. Mm-hmm. And it's all up in the air right now.
Absolutely. It's that time,
So
man.
what's your prediction? That's what I care about.
My prediction is there probably won't be a big move either way.
Oh, come on now.
And
That's
it's
the
the
worst
worst.
thing in the world.
It's the
Don't
worst.
say that. Don't say that. They can't do that.
Well, they can. I
No,
just don't
no,
know. I
they
don't think
can't.
there's a move they can get someone. I mean, if Brian Reynolds is what's out there, there's no reason to make that move. If that's the help that's out there, that's not worth doing. To bring that money on, Pittsburgh is not going to be like, oh, we'll pay 90% of that money. No way.
We said 90.
50. Is Pittsburgh the kind of organization that goes off and pays a bunch of money on other? They're like the Royals. The Royals
If they
don't go
get
pay a
a
bunch.
treasured prospect, I don't know. I don't know.
And what's the treasured
What
prospect?
Was that?
Is there a treasured prospect?
Like Blake Mitchell or Carter Jensen or like
Is that treasured?
a top 100 prospect? A top 100
Why
catching
would the
prospect?
Royals trade away a top 100 prospect?
Because they're deep in catching prospects, and maybe they decided. I'm painting the scenario for you. I didn't say I like it. I don't like this. I
can't believe you're trading for Brian
You make
Reynolds.
it sound like I'm campaigning.
Have
for
you ever
this.
had Brian Reynolds on your NL team?
No.
There you go.
'Cause I
That's all you need to know. You don't believe in him.
I don't care for the. I don't care for the play.
There you go. That's my litmus test.
I really don't.
I'll ask you. We'll have to ask Petro if he's ever had him. If neither one of you have had him, not worth having.
He's not exciting. He's not something I want.
I want they.
You know. Man, this Ken Rosenthal can't get a break with you.
His listen, I'm not a big war guy, I guess, whatever, but that's a way to look to see if the guy's doing it. He's a minus 0.7 WAR for the year.
By the way, if you feel bad where the Royals are, how about the Nationals? It's a week before the draft, a couple of weeks before the trade deadline, and they fired their manager and their GM, Mike Rizzo and Dave Martinez. Done.
Fired.
It seems like that's odd timing. Does it not, or no?
It's happened. The Royals made the big move before Dayton Moore. They fired Allard Barrett before the draft.
Okay, Ken Rosenthal. And this report came out at The Athletic on July 3rd. And we're going to see if I'm pissed off this makes Lebo. Okay. Brian Reynolds, pros and cons. Is
this the pros first?
I'm reading word for word from Rosenthal.
Are these the
so
pros?
Don't shoot the messenger. Again, I implore you.
This is pros.
Kansas City Royals officials still recall the impact switch hitter Kendrys Morales made on their 2015 World Series championship team. They offered another switch hitter, outfielder Anthony Santander.
Santander.
That's the old
Orioles guy, right?
a 3-year, $66 million free agent contract during this offseason. How about that? There's the numbers. According to Ken Rosenthal, they offered him 3 years, $66 million. And according to sources briefed on their thinking, they are interested in yet another. The Pittsburgh Pirates' Brian Reynolds. Talks between the clubs have yet to commence in earnest. The Royals, last in the majors in runs per game, are looking at a number of other hitters, but the 30-year-old Reynolds could make particular sense for Kansas City, assuming he continues his recovery from a poor start. If Reynolds is still the above-average offensive player he was from 2021 to 2024, then he is underpaid relative to the free agent market. But if he is not, the $74 million he is owed from 26 to 30 could become problematic very quickly. His deal includes a $2 million buyout on a $20 million club option for 2031. Reynolds improved his .644 OPS in March and April to .732 in May and .772 in June. His defensive metrics are poor.
Is this the pros still?
I'm waiting for the pros. I keep thinking about reading this long enough. There's going to be some pros.
Well, the pro, he's gotten better every month.
No,
That's
here's the deal. You know what the pros are? He's a pro.
He's a pro.
He's the pro of this.
He's the pro.
His defensive metrics are poor. And the Pirates' expectations in a trade are an open question. But with so many teams starved for offense, Reynolds certainly should attract attention in the coming month.
He wrote that on the 3rd.
Yes. Now respond. Now react. Those are the exact words.
Well, he'd gotten his average up on the 30th to 240, and he only got a hit since then.
Well, the pressure of Ken Rosenthal's report,
the weight of his words,
anchored him down.
Well, he just helped the Pirates not score a run in 3 games against Seattle.
Okay.
But listen,
I get it. You're not a fan.
All right.
I'm just presenting to you what's out there.
Kendrys Morales in 2014 was a subpar player, coming back from his knee injury from the celebration.
Well, he shattered his leg.
But they signed him as a free agent. They didn't take over a $70 million contract. So I think that's a bad analogy to put in a story for Ken. He was a 30-some-ish year old fading player.
He was a hell of a player for
but
the
he
Royals.
turned out to be really good for the Royals for a year.
We'll take a break. Back after this on WHP. Dude, what? The flooding in Texas. I know. Did you see one of the hunts? I'm looking for it. No, it was the great granddaughter of William Hunt, Lamar Hunt's brother. She's a Hunt. No, her name's Janie Hunt. Look it up. Okay. Remember, just hit me when it's 10 seconds. July 7th? Monday, July 7th. Looking to upgrade your week? From Monday, July 7th, hey, that's today, to Thursday, July 10th, enjoy 20% off all illicit edibles, including gummies, caramels, gemstones, and power cords. Your favorites at a tasty discount. And for the vape lovers, here's a deal that hits just right. Buy one illicit cart, including live resin, classy carts, or disposables, and get the second 50% off. It's the perfect time to snack, stack, and save. Visit From the Earth or head to ftemo.com to lock in these midweek wins. Again, to find the location nearest you or to get all these great deals and take advantage of some awesome prices, simply go to FTEMO.com. That's FTEMO.com. And when you stop by From the Earth, tell them Stephen St. John sent you. Welcome back to New Day with SSJ. Jake, announce artist and song as you come back today, because people ask me and then I forget. And we should do a better job of that. And Jake, I've been trying to get Jake to work on
He has a playlist on YouTube.
Well, on Spotify, though.
Oh, okay.
No one listens to it on YouTube. I try to explain this to him.
I'm a Apple Music guy, not a Spotify guy.
Well, do you know anyone that's a YouTube music guy?
Jake.
Okay, then that's...
He's the DuckDuckGo.
Will you help me with the Spotify
YouTube music
argument? Go ahead, I'm sorry.
That was Cochise from Obviously.
See?
But we just missed the good part. Why'd you turn it off?
He's not here to appease you.
Oh.
Right.
Did you happen to see any of the Back to the Beginning footage? Black Sabbath had their final show ever.
Am I alive? Am I on social media? Because if you spent 3 minutes on social media, you saw everything. I was overwhelmed by the people that appeared there and played.
I was busy Saturday, or I would have just bought the live stream.
What
and
about
sat there and watched it.
it was on live stream?
Yeah, you could have paid. They raised, I think there were 2.5 million people watching it for like basically $25 a piece. The money went to Parkinson's research because Ozzy Osbourne has Parkinson's.
I absolutely would have done that had I known.
And it was delayed 2 hours, so it happened, and so it was a little bit of a delay. So you could see some things on social media, and if you're watching the live, I found a few people streaming the live stream for little bits until they got taken down. And I was watching some family in Tulsa with their dogs, just had their phone holding up to the screen for a while. But anyway, Tom Morello.
What did you just say?
I was on TikTok, and some people in Tulsa just had their phones held up to watch the live stream for a while. And I found it. I watched it for a while. Okay. But Tom Morello, who is the guitarist in lots of bands, most famously Rage Against the Machine, but Audioslave as well, he was up there in the supergroup stuff, and he is one of the most incredible personalities in guitarists that you've ever seen. And, at one point during this thing,
His son played
with Jack Black on the pre-taped thing, the Mr. Crowley thing, which was incredible. I saw that live on the Tulsa live stream.
Okay, when did W. Axl Rose play? What was Guns N' Roses?
They were it went lots of bands, and Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Ozzy solo, Black Sabbath. So they were like the fourth to last band, and they played basically. I think they played 3 Black Sabbath covers, and then they played Welcome to the Jungle in Paradise City.
Axl posted a thing like how honored he was to meet Ozzy Osbourne. He said all this time was the first time they actually met.
No, he'd never met him. Wow, that's wild.
And then they posted, Axl posted this awesome picture, and I thought I was going to send. I forgot to send it to you. I'll show it to you. And it's just him and James Hetfield, just like you could tell they're just talking in the backstage or whatever.
Yeah, it was like a crazy backstage. All these people.
But I'm also thinking, man, they got some history.
Yeah.
And I remember how pissed off Metallica was in that tour with
Right.
Guns N' Roses.
That's 30 years.
I know, but I just thought that was what a cool picture, right?
It was very neat. But so there's lots of stuff out there, and then I think you can pay money to just go back and watch the whole thing.
I'm going to, because I didn't understand exactly. I didn't know, didn't even Steven Tyler come back and sing?
Yeah, so that's what I was going to tell you. So Steven Tyler came. They had these super groups play too. So they just had all this little mix of people. So Steven Tyler, who had to cancel the Aerosmith tour,
I know I was
because
going to go
of
and see
the voice.
Damn it.
He couldn't go do every night, but he was able to get it together, and they did some songs. Then they did a long version of Train Kept a Rolling, where all the guitarists. That's a thing where they all just play, and so like K.K. Downing from Judas Priest was up there, and Tom Morello, and freaking Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones came out. And they were trading solos back and forth, and Steven Tyler singing. And then at the end, they did some mashup of Walk This Way and Whole Lotta Love by Led Zeppelin. It was just like the wildest thing you ever saw. And then they had some, younger type people. And so everyone kind of paid homage and played like Black Sabbath songs, and they played some of their own songs. So there were some very cool covers that people did.
I didn't realize you could watch it, but you can go back and watch it now.
I think you can pay the money and go back and watch it, but it may not be up forever because there's some rules. I think they're probably going to sell it and do all this stuff. But they raised millions of dollars for the charities.
That pisses me off that I didn't know that it was streamed. I knew it was happening, but I guess I didn't know the scope of it and didn't understand how many people were going to be a part of it. Like, look at this pic. That's the pic I was saying, yeah.
Oh, it was wild, dude. There's so many pictures and things.
Yeah, that's great.
And then during at some point backstage, like Kelly Osbourne, her boyfriend who is in Slipknot,
of course,
asked her to marry him, like right in front of Ozzy and Sharon. It was like crazy. And Ozzy he can't walk really. He had to perform from a throne.
The throne.
Yes.
But I saw when it
thing
elevated
raised
up.
And
what was the last song they did?
They played Paranoid.
Yeah,
I think so.
And I saw they showed the crowd. Everyone was crying when he was singing "Mama, I'm Coming Home."
Yeah.
I wanted to see it, and I will watch it.
And there's some better clips out there now, some pre-produced ones, like from the feed. A lot of I was watching, TikToks from Tulsa.
You were watching a family from Tulsa with their dogs.
They had their dogs, and then between songs, he would say, "Well, this is so and so, and this is so and so."
Jake, does this?
And then it disappeared.
I hadn't heard about it in advance. I just started seeing people post about it. I don't think they promoted it very well.
That's right.
So the legendary rock band I spent part of my weekend with yesterday, my wife and I went and saw Spinal Tap back in the theaters.
Oh, how was that?
One weekend. Oh, it's hilarious.
How many? Did a bunch of people go? Was it?
There were 6 people in the theater.
Well, there.
Yeah. I heard about that like months ago. So it's actually in the theaters this week.
It was Saturday, Sunday, and today I think is the last day.
I was thinking about doing that.
But this thing was very cool. Like Anthrax played, and the supergroups were the fun part too because Sammy Hagar, Steven Tyler, all these people were there. Jason Momoa was the host of the thing, so he was the guy who came out. And at one point, Pantera was going to play, and he says, "Save me a spot in the pit." And he goes out, and Jason Momoa.
I saw the video of him running. Yeah.
During Cowboys from Hell and Walk by Pantera. It was crazy.
Sing Walk.
And that's about what it goes.
The first part sounded like he was getting ready to vomit.
That's what it sounds like when Phil Anselmo sings. And, Zach Wilde plays guitar for them now. And so Zach's Ozzy's guy. Zach Wilde was very cool. And it was a really neat thing. But there's going to be lots of stuff out there now. But, yeah.
I'll watch that all. That's good. Good job of selling that. And I was looking at all the clips. I'm exactly like Drake. Like,
I was going to just buy the thing.
Like, why didn't I hear about this?
But then,
how did I not know all these people were going to be there?
We were gone part of the
What's going
Saturday,
on?
but then we got home early. I should have just gone on and bought and watched the last part. Then I could go back and watch. So it's okay.
But I'm glad you said that because I felt dumb. Like, should I have known?
You should have
everything
known.
Did you?
You got the bad algorithm.
Why didn't you
going
tell
on.
nobody?
Well, I
We'll
thought
take a
you
break.
knew.
Back after this on WHB.